what's up guys, Houston here. Most LLC owners not aware that you actually can get up to $25,000 in funding for your LLC, okay? And I'm going to explain what's going on here as well as here in a minute, but at the same time, I'm going to be teaching you how to bypass the instant denials. I'm going to teach you how to bypass the hard pulls. I'm going to teach you how you can bypass the unnecessary paperwork, okay, to get up to $25,000, all right? Now, we're talking about getting up to $25,000 in instant loans, right? And so what people don't understand, if you have an LLC and you have bad credit, you still have options. However, in order to access this funding, you have to make sure that you're positioned, okay? And so that positioning means having an active checking account, okay? And so what I mean by active checking accounts, you have to have deposits going into that checking account, okay? At least 3 to 4 times a month. Now, you do not have to have a lot of money being deposited into that checking account. So let me be clear about that. Most of the lenders that I refer, many of them, the minimum is usually about $1,500 to $3,000 a month, okay, in order to qualify for loans, all right? Now, also adding to that, that in terms of certain bank accounts may not qualify. So what I mean by that, certain bank accounts, they may not have access to PLAD or decision logic. And so if your bank does not offer those services, it'll make it challenging for you to be approved. Okay, so that's the reason why I tell people, like, if you're trying to go over to like Relay or Blue Vine or something like that to open up a business checking account, what you're doing, you're putting yourself behind the starting line, okay? And it's going to make it harder for you to get funding because a lot of people, they may be in check systems or they may be in early warning system. So trying to find a bank that would actually allow you to open up a checking account. But here's the secret. Most banks, even though you may be in check systems or early warning system, when it comes to a business checking account, they may overlook that and allow you to still open up a business checking account, okay? So that's even with your major banks. So that's the reason why I want to bring this to your attention. Now, the next thing is making sure that you have revenue coming into business for at least 90 days. At least 90 days. And the reason is they want to see consistency. That's the reason why I tell people that when you're trying to get funding and you have bad credit, stay away from the major banks. However, when you have like a side hustle and you're trying to be able to get a loan to expand your business, fix your car, or marketing or something like that, then you have to go through alternative lenders in order to do that, all right? So those alternative lenders, they want you to be in business at least 90 days. Now, here's something that a lot of small side hustlers or door dashers or ride share people, they leave money on the table. And the reason they leave money on the table is because they don't have a registered business. This is the reason why we always tell you, hit us up. Let us structure you a registered business, because a lot of these lenders will work with you to get you qualified for a loan, even if you have bad credit, but you have to have a registered business. They won't work with a DBA. All right. Now, some lenders do. They'll be flexible enough as long as you can show strong deposits. But for many of them, they won't work with a DBA. That being said, the first one we're talking about is fair figure. Okay. Now, why fair figure? Well, here's the thing about it. Most people, when they have an LLC and they're trying to get business funded, they're also trying to build up their business credit. So with fair figure, they're going to give you 2 trade lines, right? And so those 2 trade lines would be for like a net 30s, right? So they'll give you a net 30 account. And so this is for those that's trying to get supplies and stuff. Then they give you a financial account, okay? And so with the financial account is the loan. Now, the minimum income that they want to see you have is at least $2,500 under your registered business. You have to have a registered business. Now, the best part about this, they do report to the business credit bureaus. So that financial account, that financial loan that they actually give you, it does report to the business credit bureaus as well as their net 30. Okay? So if you're trying to jumpstart building your credit plus giving you access to a loan or funding and stuff, Fair Figure is one of those. Now, again, it has nothing to do with the personal credit. You just have to have a registered business. All right. So then you have ULIT. All right. Now, many of you that follow my videos, if you haven't, click the link, subscribe, and share the video, because a lot of people don't even see my videos. And even if you don't subscribe or whatever, they may send my video to people that's trying to milk a cat or something like that. So you don't get a chance to see my videos, right? That being said, I appreciate the support. ULIT. Now with ULIT, again, they're all about freelancers, okay? The gig economy. So the thing about it is they only go up to $2,500, okay? However, you're also looking at, they're not focused on your personal credit. Now, $2,500 may not seem a lot to some people, but with $2,500, depends on what it is. You may just need to enough money to pay some tickets off to keep your vehicle moving, you know, or to get some car insurance or something like that. But it's an option for you. All right. Then you have Kashera. Okay. Now, here's the thing about it. Kashera gives you $5,000. Right? They give you $5,000. All right. Again, it doesn't matter about the credit. All right. This is all about business revenue. Now, if you all recently seen my last video, for those of you that's following me, what do you want? Sorry. Rabbit wants to play again. With Kashera, again, it's for the gig economy, those type of loans. Now, that being said, here's the reason why I like Kashera. Please understand, like with some of these, they offer high interest on their loan. But one of the things about it, you have bad credit, you don't have to worry about this showing up on your credit file. All right. Another thing, let's just say, and I made a video yesterday, I was telling you guys that with Albert, okay? So with Albert, they offer a loan, right? And they offer a loan up to $5,000, okay? And you can get up to $5,000 with bad credit with Albert as well, right? And so, like with Kashera, if you have a loan with them already or have a loan with Albert already, they're not going to penalize you and say, no, you can't get a loan with us. So that's the reason why I like them, because they don't disqualify you to get a loan with them if you already have an existing loan with somebody else. All right. So that's one of the reasons why I have them on the list. Now, here's something that I always try to tell you guys. Look, if you're in the markets, okay, and you may have a portfolio, okay, so you may have a portfolio, a stock portfolio, right? I always tell you, you may can leverage and take out a margin loan, right? Because it has nothing to do with your credit, okay? It has nothing to do with your credit. It's all about your stock portfolio, as well as with the insurance loan, okay? Has nothing to do with your credit, all right? Then you also have the option of 401k. Okay, or better yet, a Rob, rollover business. All right. Now, many people may not even aware, you may have an old 401k out there. Okay. Sorry, I can't remember the website, but there's a website that is a government website that you can actually check to see, like you may have worked with a company for a long time, you invested in a 401k, but you may not think that you had a lot of money invested in it. It may have just been a couple $1,000s, but you forgot about it. So when you left the company, they just turned it over to the government. So checking to see if you have an old 401k with money in it. All right. Another one is another way to find out if you can get some free money. This is free money to help you. Okay. That is with unclaimed. Okay. Go there, put in your state, put in your zip code, put in your name, and for every state you stayed in, see if you have money. Now, I've had clients that get thousands of dollars from this because they was not aware. There may have been a lawsuit that you won by default. Okay, there may be state taxes that you have. So you have multiple options in terms of helping you raise that $25,000, okay? I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Then you have the sophisticated way, but I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But here's another option, and you hear me talk about, and it's with Giggle Finance, right? So with Giggle Finance, they give up to 15, right? They give up to $15,000. Okay, so you have options. Now, going to this sophisticated, this is the one that I like. And the reason why, I want you to see this. The reason why I like the sophisticated, let me get in front of the camera so you can understand. The sophisticated method, if you have an LLC, you have a business, look in your community or look in your area. You can go by biz, buy, sell, or something like that. Look for people that are in your industry that you're trying to get into and see if they're selling the business, right? Then there's a reason why I'm telling you that. But once you find that person, because what's happening, a lot of people are retiring from their businesses and their kids don't want to have nothing to do with the business, which makes it much easier for you to be able to get access to the business, right? Now, here's why. You don't have any money to buy this. You don't have any cash money to buy this business. However, you can work out the numbers to where you agree to continue running the business, and whatever the asking price is, you can offer them 10, 15% over the asking price, because most people, they're very sentimental about their business, especially if they done built it up and stuff. They don't want to just dissolve it. They wish somebody would come and take it over. So being able to give them the opportunity to keep their business thriving, plus now somebody else is operating the business, and you split the profits with them until you have established credit to where you're actually able to go get a loan. Now, here's the secret to that. If you're able to take over that business, then what you can do, leverage the SBA. Show them that you have an established business with 10% down. That's what SBA expect. But here's the thing about it. You don't come with 10% down. You have 5, and you find the seller that's willing to sell the business, asking them to give you 5%. Okay? So that'll make up for that 10%. Okay? And so now you have that 10% down, go to SBA to actually buy that business, and they will help you buy that business out from that guy. Plus, since that guy, if you're able to keep him on board for at least 1 to 2 years, now you have that added experience, because this is something that the SBA wants. They want that 2-year experience. And so by you finding somebody that's agreeing to stay on after you buy the business for 2 years, this also positions you better to be able to get more capital out of SBA to help you buy the business and continue with running the business. And it also gives you instant access to customers. So you don't have to constantly go out there trying to figure out where's my customers, how do I get customers and stuff like that. And plus, it's already a branded name as well. All right. So I hope this video helps you. If you have any questions about business credit funding, personal credit funding, removing negative items off the credit, click the link in the description. Schedule a one-on-one consultation. Thank you.